What's up, guys? You already know what's going on. My name is Andrew, and you're listening to Genuine Radio. I'm here with Colin White. He was our guest on our previous episode, and he's here with us again. Good to have you back, Colin.
Thanks for having me, man. It's always fun doing this stuff.
Of course. So today we're talking about, the next few episodes are going to be about the election 2020, and
Oh man.
it's been quite the spectacle so far. Um, it's definitely something that's going to go down in the history books. Um, there's been arguments from both sides about who's, best to be the next president of our country. And when Colin first reached out to me, he mentioned that he's not planning on voting. So I saw that that was interesting. So do you mind shedding a little light on your decision?
Yeah, definitely. So this is actually my first presidential election that I'll be voting in. So, it's something for me, as an American, we live in a country where, everyone has the opportunity to vote and, I'm grateful for that. But and I will be voting for other people in other positions, but when it comes to the presidential candidacy and who to vote for, I am I don't know. You know, I see two candidates. My biggest thing, the reason why I can't side with one or the other, is because of their allegations and confirmations of their sexual misconduct. In my eyes, the biggest crime that anyone can do, the worst thing a human being can do above murder, is sexual assault of another human being. From both sides, we've seen situations occur of sexual misconduct, whether it's certain verbiage, it's physical acts. Both candidates, in my eyes, have violated the basic human rights of people.
Yeah.
So for me, I can't possibly fully support anyone who does that with a vote.
I see. Wow.
And being that I work closely with law enforcement and I'm trying to, pursue my career in that, being fair and impartial is at the top of my list of things to do every day. So I would prefer a leader that is not perfect, because no one's perfect, but the farthest thing from a sexual predator possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my biggest determining factors. I don't care if your son did drugs while he was overseas. I don't care if you're a con artist in the business world. What I care about is if you're a good human being.
Yeah.
I don't think Donald Trump's a white supremacist. I don't think Biden is a broad guy. I think people like to blow up a lot of things. I think both of them have had racist moments in the past. Both have been documented saying things. I don't think, either of them are like KKK supporters and stuff like that. So I think the grounds on the racial stuff is also equal. And that's not good. That's not a good thing. The things that and Trump has said about minorities and other individuals in this country is kind of upsetting as well. And, our last president was African American. That's a big push towards equality. But, he only gets 8 years. And 8 years isn't enough time. So I really would have liked to see someone in the Democratic side who was a little bit more progressive and for the people. Joe Biden's been in this game a long time.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has had enough time. So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't know where to go. You have a guy who's been in here his entire life, and his time is clearly up.
Yeah.
You have a guy who's been in here for 4 years, and his time is clearly up. You just don't know who to go with, you know?
Wow, that is a very interesting point of view. And I definitely respect it. Um, Now over the past few months, I would say, I know that a lot of people feel similar to how you do because I've seen a lot of things in social media that's like, oh, like who do I vote for? And then there's people who are saying, oh, vote Biden, he's the lesser evil. So how do you feel about that statement? And do you feel that like that's accurate?
Um, I really see both of these candidates in the equal light.
Mm.
There is a thing going around on social media, and it's called like "settle for Biden,"
Yeah, I've seen that.
and I totally understand. I totally understand it. You know where they're coming from. But here's my thing: Democratic Party pushes for, and I tried to get into politics recently, and I couldn't handle it, and I like got out. But what I noticed when I was doing a little bit of readings into the Democratic Party is their candidates in the preliminaries. They had a gay candidate, they had an African American candidate of Ben Carson, who is one of the most knowledgeable people in this country.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Latino. They had people from all different backgrounds. They had people that were significantly younger than Joe Biden
Yeah,
that could relate to the most powerful group in this country, which is not the growing senior citizen class. It is the evolving millennial generation.
yes,
Because of
yes.
social media, the millennial generation is the most powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And they had individuals who were in that spot. They didn't take it. They pushed for Biden out of all people.
Yeah.
But the Republicans had the same thing. They pushed for Trump out of all people. How did
Mm-hmm.
he get there? How does Biden stay here? Um, so when they say Biden is the lesser evil, I I guess it makes sense because he was a vice president and nothing major has come out about him. But for me, the determining factor is the sexual misconduct, especially on camera.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen the incidents with Mr. Biden and him with children
Mm-hmm.
on
Yeah, I think I
national
saw.
television.
Yeah, yeah.
It's disturbing and it's just weird.
It is weird.
Um, I think, and here's my thing from a law enforcement standpoint. A lot's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
If Biden gets elected, these riots are going away.
You
A
think
lot
so?
of things are going. I think so. I think a lot of things are going away
Mm.
because people are frustrated. They're outraged. They associate a lot of things with Donald Trump that maybe aren't associated with him. They're not his fault,
Mm-hmm.
but because he's sitting in office, they're associating it with him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would partially agree with the statement that Biden's a lesser evil. I don't think either of them are politically evil. I think they have demons of their own that need to be addressed on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I understand where people come from in that statement. But in my eyes, they're two in the same
Mm.
kind of.
Mm. I see. You mentioned something earlier when you were talking about how millennials were the strongest generation, and what came to mind when you said that was like these individuals are quite old. Um,
Yeah,
they are in their 70s, and I think I read somewhere if Biden's elected, he would be the oldest person to be elected, I believe.
I believe it.
So personally, I feel like we need to have, in the future more. We need to have people that actually relate to the current, um, you know, current like the current generations.
Yeah, definitely.
And more people of color, younger individuals,
Yep,
but to better represent the country.
exactly.
So that's what I have to say about that. Um, I also do want to ask. So I believe in 2016, a large amount of people chose not to vote. Um, so my question would be, how does your decision to not vote for president, and how do you think the collective decision of other individuals to not vote for president, how do you think that will affect the election?
See, the thing with not voting is it kind of doesn't really make that much of a difference. You like neutrality really in elections doesn't make it doesn't I don't think it plays a big factor.
Mm,
I think it's just people that genuinely like myself just can't make up their minds.
yeah.
I'm 20 years old. I'm in college. I have so much going on with school.
Mm,
I watched the first maybe half an hour of the debate. I got to the point where both Trump and Biden addressed the stuff on law enforcement, and they supported cops and basically said like not all cops are bad,
mm,
which really made me feel good
mm,
that at least the two primaries support the good people.
yeah.
And I turned it off because I couldn't stand them just talking
Yeah.
anymore.
It was a mess.
I watched the vice presidential debate. It wasn't horrible. Mike Pence made a lot of good points. Kamala Harris, she did hold her weight
Mm,
for her first debate. But I just can't make up my mind. So I don't think it's really going to affect because you're just taking away people from not voting. So there's just lesser people voting, which did just make up a higher percentage. So I mean, the more people that vote, I think the tighter, you know, it will be. But
hmm
I don't think it will have that big of an impact
Yeah.
on who wins or not.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
it will be.
after November 3rd, or if the results are able to be processed by then. I heard a lot of people saying that, especially with the high influx of mail-in voting, we might have to wait a few days to find out who our next president is.
Yeah,
Um,
I would
but
say it's probably going to take a long time. I would say a week. There's going to be so much stuff
yeah,
going on with it, though. It's
yeah,
crazy. It's going
yeah.
to be a very, very. People are like, "This is the most important election ever," and I'm like, "I think it's the least important election ever." I think,
Oh,
yeah, I think because one of the big things is Roe v. Wade. People think Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned if Trump stays in. That's not happening.
mm,
I don't agree with everything that he says on women's rights, but he's not a woman, so I think we should leave lady stuff to lady stuff.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think guys should get involved, but hey, that's
I
just
agree.
me. But yeah, I don't think this election is as important as people make it. I
Mm,
think
wow.
I would if we get in next 4 years, we get another candidate that is truly a genuine human being with no scandals or nothing and just wants to lead the country correctly for the
Mm,
you know I think the next election is going to be far far more important than this one.
wow. That's a very interesting point of view. I can see where you're coming from, though. I
I mean
definitely see where you're
it's
coming from.
controversial because a lot of people on social media, a lot of people that will watch this are probably on the liberal side because social
Hmm
media is more of a in liberal context. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I see both of these guys. I can't get the notion of sexual misconduct out of my head.
Mm,
It has been confirmed, and that's something that I mean, me going into law enforcement, that's one of the biggest things. is the sexual abuse in this country of people.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
I see the videos of Biden, and it makes me sick. I hear the things that Trump says, it makes me sick. There's locker room talk, as people say, and then there's what he said. I've
Yeah,
never been in a locker room. I've been in locker rooms my entire life, but I've never been in a locker room where that has been getting thrown around, ever.
yeah.
I
I'm.
still play college sports. I'm in locker rooms every day. Never hear that.
Yeah. I mean,
Never.
we were on the same lacrosse team. I was the manager.
Yep.
For you, like we would not hear anything like that.
Absolutely not. We were talking about like Naruto and then just like random stuff. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not voting. It's just I throw everything else out the window.
yeah.
I think they're both inherently racist. I
Mm.
think they're both sexual predators, and they have a long history of misconduct. And they're both in it for selfish reasons, as most people are in Washington. It's not a
Yeah,
secret.
true.
But so yeah, man, I don't know. I'll be voting for senator. I'll be voting for Cory Booker. He's a Democrat. For my local, I vote Democrat. Really, sometimes for local. People that have been in office around here in the county and in town have done, phenomenal jobs over the years. So,
Hmm.
I support people that really do good things, but I don't know who my president should be. Obviously, from a law enforcement standpoint, whoever is president, I gotta support them because they're my boss. You work for the
Yeah.
government, they're your boss. Not on a direct scale. Like I'm not reporting to the president, but I support the Constitution of the United States, and I'm going to take an oath to uphold that.
Hmm.
So my job, our jobs, will change very small. We'll get
Hmm.
up, we'll eat, we'll pay our taxes, we'll go to sleep, we'll do all the same stuff. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but for the moment, at least, unless something changes within the next couple of weeks, I
Mm.
don't, my, it's going to be blank. It's going to be blank for me.
What would you say would like if anything would push you to one side or another? Like do you have like any ideas of something that could happen?
I think if something gets uncovered from a more criminal standpoint, or
Hmm.
if I it would be like if something really did happen, I'd be sure to give you a call back and tell you.
Yeah.
Um, it's just so it's for me in my first presidential election. I didn't think it'd be going like this. You know,
Yeah.
um, I really thought Trump would be like a Ronald Reagan, like
Mm.
because Ronald Reagan he was a celebrity, movie star, TV star, and then he just came in, was president. He was a
Yeah,
governor.
yeah.
I think he was governor of California or something too,
Hmm.
somewhere like that. And I thought he would be like that. Obviously, not the case. Far different. But
Yeah.
you know, yeah, you know, and I think my career choice also impacts it as well. It's like my job doesn't change,
Hmm.
and a lot of my liberal friends were saying, oh, pushing for me to vote for Biden because of Roe v. Wade, but there's no way, even if there's no way it overturns. Like there's no way
Hmm.
because the Supreme Court will have, dissenting opinions
Yeah.
twofold at least,
Yeah.
that are going to overturn it. I think even this new Supreme Court justice who has a nomination, even if she was the only one to try and overturn it, I think the sitting Republicans in there would be dissent too. So,
Yeah. 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 That
um,
makes sense. That makes sense.
but
I see that happening.
my only thing is if Biden gets in, we will have the first female vice president, and
Hmm.
she's had her share of stuff, but it would be, I think, a good thing for the country to have a woman in office if she
Hmm.
truly is going to push for women's rights. and that is to be determined because it has not
Yeah.
been seen yet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I
so
know a lot of, going off that point, a lot of people have been, saying that, going back to Joe Biden's age, should, God forbid, something happens,
yes,
should be next in line for the presidency. So um, that's also something to note as well.
yeah. I mean, I've seen the videos of like she said like the Harris Biden administration and stuff, and then Biden was like, oh, she's fit to be president.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I saw that.
so there is a theory going around that he gets in, he sits his 100 days, and then he retires or something.
Mm,
Um, hey, that's always a possibility. It's a possibility with every job.
yeah,
Um, I don't see it happening. I don't see Biden leaving office once he gets in because he
yeah,
absolutely loved the White House when he was there with
mm,
President Obama. So, um, you know, I'm just hoping our country, whoever wins, I'm hoping they can get this country back to normal.
yes,
Because
yes,
that is the big thing. It's not about really who wins. It's about what they do once they get into office or stay in office.
hmm
And I really hope the next 4 years, whoever's there really does something good for our country, other than, you know, crossing over into North Korea and then cutting ties. I want to see something good, and I
yeah,
don't see anything good right now.
yeah. Same here. We all need it.
Yeah, man,
Um, but we'll see what happens.
definitely.
We'll see what happens. It's certainly a time to be alive.
Yep, it is.
And we will see what happens. Colin, I want to thank you so much
Thank you,
for
brother.
coming back on the show. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Um, and thank you for the listeners at home. Thank you guys for listening to Genuine Radio. Peace.